This video is about active focus using Jake Steiner's EndMyopia method. Active focus is that elusive, mysterious thing which no one can really explain because you have to experience it for yourself before you're like, ah, that's what they're talking about. In a way, I feel like making this video is absolutely useless because there is just so much information already out there. Jake has made pages and pages and pages on the endmyopia.org blog about active focus and how he describes it, how other people describe it, what it's actually doing, what it feels like, how to achieve it. Like, it's all there already. You really don't need me. On top of this, there are also tons of videos by Jake and also some really good videos by other EndMyopia students, my favorites of which I will link below. But having said that there's almost no point to me making this video about active focus. It took me quite some time to find it, and so I think there is some value in telling my story about how I found active focus. When I first started the EndMyopia method, I read about active focus, and yes, I was doing a lot of squinting, trying to clear things up, which was kind of working for me. Also, do you ever do the side eye, you know? I found one of Jake's videos where he shared one of his students' input about active focus being describing the blur. So that idea is that instead of thinking about, oh, I must make this blurry thing clear, you just relax and pay attention to trying to describe the blur, where the blur starts, what the blur is like, what it's doing. And in doing that, you're going to be actively focusing, or at least tapping into the kind of thing you want your eye to be doing to active focus. Great, I thought, and I did that. It worked. I was like, wonderful, I've got active focus. This is no problem. I think this was like in my second video. I'm like, yes, found active focus. Since then, I got confused. I think there are two things that contributed to confusing me. One was that everyone was talking about active focus and how hard it was to like achieve or describe, or how it's this big magical thing that when you get it, you'll get it because it will be amazing. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if the thing I'm doing is amazing. Okay, maybe I haven't got it because it's not like profound, mind-blowing, wow, I can clear things up now kind of magic. So I started doubting myself. Then one day I was sitting outside drinking my morning coffee, staring around in my little garden without my glasses on, listening to an audiobook, which I love doing. I was staring at the label of a pot. No way could I see that. Like, I can see about to here without glasses, and it was like over there. So yeah, it was very blurry. It was kind of hurting just having my glasses off and looking into such blur for like half an hour. I was like, ow. You know how it is when you like are not wearing your glasses? And my eyes were like, I don't know, the blur was moving about and my eyes started super watering and the filmy tear layer was playing with my focus, and then whoomp, I could read that. I could read it. Not only the text that had previously been blurry, but also the tiny text, which I hadn't even been able to discern was there. I could read it. And then I blinked and it went away. And I was like, that is active focus. This is something magical and profound, and I finally got it. Yes! And so I spent quite a lot of time staring at stuff without my glasses after that. I found that if I spent this time with my glasses off, relaxing my eyes, looking at something blurry, letting them water, sooner or later, if I just gave them enough time, I could clear it up. And then I would blink and it would go away. And I'd just keep going and then it would clear, blink, go away, clear, blink, go away. But it was definitely like every single time I did this, there was a lot of eye watering, but it was also like so exciting. I mean, I never would have dreamed that I could see things like that. But that kind of activity is pretty hard to do just during the course of a day. People say they don't spend a certain amount of time doing active focus, they're just doing it all the time. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like that takes time and intentionality. Anyway, things continued. Thinking I knew what active focus was, and it was this thing. So I have changed my mind. I don't think that was active focus at all. I think that this watery eye staring, things far away becoming quite clear even though I don't have glasses on, That's what EndMyopia people are calling clear flashes. That is not active focus. It's pretty amazing, and I thought that's what I was waiting for, something pretty amazing. But actually, at some point I realized active focus isn't actually that big of a deal. The EndMyopia blog says that for some people, they're like, oh yeah, I can already do that, and other people it takes a month to work out. So I can't say for everyone, active focus is not a big deal, but it kind of looks like a big deal, and that tricked me because I'd actually already done active focus one time, years before. I'd started a desk job where I was at a computer for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I bought a smartphone with my new income, and smartphones were quite new. And I was using that for an hour on my train trip to work and an hour on my train trip home. And at home, I'd get in front of my computer and write on my live journal, because I'm that old school. From this new lifestyle I had after uni, this new smartphone office job lifestyle, I got my first pair of myopia glasses. Like, I already had astigmatism glasses, but I didn't have to wear them much. These are my first pair of glasses for short-sightedness. Cool. I was a bit depressed about that, to be honest. So I lived through my first pair, and then, because I was wearing them all the time on my computer, when I was using my phone, my eyes got worse again, and things got blurry, even with my glasses on. I lived with that for a while because I did not want to get a stronger pair of glasses. I was already depressed enough about my first pair. Eventually, I just couldn't deny it anymore. I needed stronger glasses. So I went and got my eyes checked again, got a higher prescription. The time came for me to pick up my new glasses. I got them, I didn't change into them immediately. I took them to lunch at a pub where I was meeting my mum and some friends. There was, at this pub, some televisions above the bar, you know, like with sports and stuff on them. I changed into my new glasses. Someone at the table asked what the score was on the telly, so I turned around to look. And for a second, when I first looked, it was blurry. And then I kind of tried to read it, and I couldn't read it. And I was so excited. Oh my gosh, oh, the blur is gone, so I'm depressed to have a stronger pair of glasses, but I'm so excited to see clearly again. And I said to my mum, it's amazing, because when I looked at that, it was blurry, but when I tried to see it, it was clear. Before, it was always blurry, so I stopped trying to see. My mum said, oh, you mustn't stop trying, and I felt, you don't know what it's like to see with my eyes. Everything's so hard. It doesn't matter how hard I would have tried with my old glasses, I wouldn't have seen that. Anyway, I didn't say any of this. This was all, you know, interior drama. The point was, I looked at this thing, tried to see it, and cleared it up enough to read it. And I thought, okay, so trying to see makes a difference. So it might sound pretty impressive, but like, these weren't differentials, these weren't even normalized. These were a full to infinity prescription I was wearing at the time. So the fact that I could clear up a bit of blur on the television is not miraculous. It was just bothering. Anyway, years passed, got stronger and stronger glasses, and got increasingly depressed about the fact that where is this going to end? This is never going to end. My eyes are just going to get worse and worse and worse throughout my whole life. And then I found EndMyopia. And then I was trying to find active focus and had no idea what it was. So active focus then. What is it? If you've never had that experience like I had reading the score of the cricket in the pub, what is it then? Can I tell you? Well, many people have tried, but I'll try too. Here's what I can tell you. It's not a miracle. It's not mind-blowing. I've heard people say it's more like passive focus, where you just relax and let your eyes do it, but I found reading those descriptions, that sounds more like when I get my clear flashes. Active focus, I'm doing it. It's intentional. You don't need me to tell you about like getting a book and finding your blur horizon with differentials or maybe no glasses depending on how bad your myopia is, and just clearing it up just there, not at a distance, just the tiniest edge of blur, just clear up that tiny bit of blur. It's not a big, hard job. So in order to describe what this is like for people who haven't done it, it's easiest to describe if I compare it to a different faculty. And another student video actually also did this. I'll link in the description below. Sorry, I've forgotten your name and I can't look it up just now because my phone is in use as my camera. This other EndMyopia student talked about how it's like having a ticking clock in the room or something and you're not even paying attention to it, but then you can start paying attention to it and suddenly it's really obvious and clear and loud. My parallel was also to do with listening, but it was like when you're listening to someone talking and you're kind of half listening. That's how we use our eyes most of the time. Active focus is like when you really attentively listen to someone. You hang on their every word. You pay full attention to what they're saying. Active focus is like that, except with your eyes. I think a lot of the time when we look around, we're just kind of taking in a broad picture. We're just general idea, that'll do. We don't have to work too hard at seeing, it just happens. Come on, get in my eyes. Active focus is when instead of just taking it all in, you actually look. Think about it with a book. When you're reading, you're kind of going across the lines. You can see the shape, so you're taking it in. But active focus is when you stop and you just like actually look at it. Just stop looking like a lazy person. Active focus is kind of doing what you're already doing, except doing it on purpose. It's like trying to write neatly. Still writing, same as before, you're just doing it with a bit more care and intentionality and a bit more precision. You can do it even without finding anything blurry. So if you just get some text and notice how you're looking at the words and then pick a letter and really look at it. It's like when you're doing those spot the difference puzzles. I don't know who has done any spot the difference puzzles recently. Instead of just looking at the whole picture, you're like looking at the details, trying to find it. And active focus feels a bit like that. Really looking, taking in the detail, because you want to see the edge of things. You want to see the crisp edge of things. And once you kind of get an idea of that, put the text just a bit further than where it's crisp. You don't have to put it really far away and try and clear out masses of blur, like just the tiniest bit. Tiny. Over time, you can start putting the text or whatever you're looking at a bit further away so it's a little bit more blurry, and you'll find that you can even clear up that much blur. At the beginning you won't be able to though, but that doesn't mean you don't have active focus. I was super surprised the day when I could hold my phone full arm's length and make it clear. It almost felt like I was doing a magic eye puzzle. You know those books where you're like going cross-eyed at them? This isn't, don't do that though. Don't go, that's not active focus. I don't really need to say any more than this, because really I'm gonna put a ton of links down below to videos and blog posts. They really do say it all. It's all there. If you actually want to achieve active focus, read them, watch them, you will get it. Just don't be put off by the people who have found active focus really hard to achieve being very excited when they find it. Don't let that make you think that active focus is this big, huge, magical, breathtaking thing. It's actually really ordinary, really mundane. It's really not that special, but it is that important. So definitely take the time to work it out and do it. If you like this video, please like this video. It really helps me out. And if you want to leave any comments below telling me how you found active focus, or if you think my idea of active focus is actually way off point, do tell me that too, because that would be handy for me to know. And also subscribe to my channel for more content from me. I post every week, and so I'll see you then. Bye. Oh, I think I just spat. The page further away, more blur, clearing. I'm just saying words now. It really helps me out. Whoop, does it now? Okay. I found active focused years and years ago before. Did I just say focused? I'm gonna say that bit again. Not only the text that had previously been, you're like, okay, but not with the growling. I mean, you don't need to work that hard. Please like this. Please have worked.